there in YouTube Guitar Land. It's Music Man RN coming back at you. Part 2 of Shower the People. That was my version of it there. And obviously with all James Taylor songs there's going to be a lot of different embellishments and whatnot, and obviously feel free to add those in. But I'm going to just go over the chord shapes and give you some picking ideas. This is part 2, and like I said, in part 1 we got up to the chorus. So that is where we're starting off here. Chords, you got E minor 7, which is basically your E minor chord, and then you add that 7 in right here, third fret of the B string. And again, we do have the capo on the third fret, so this is all relative to that. So we got our E minor 7, and then our A, and feel free to do some little embellishments, hammer on the A if you want. And so basically you're going to play that E minor 7 to the A 2 times, and then on the third time, cycle through. You again start with that E minor 7, and then you're going to go to the A, and then that A sharp chord, where basically you're playing kind of an A. You're adding in that A sharp bass note, which is the first fret of the A string, and then into your B minor. So just to get us up to power speed here, we got an E minor 7 to the A, E minor 7 to the A. Then for the third part through, you start with E minor 7 again, to the A, to the A sharp, into the B minor. And basically the difference basically there is that the timing on the A chord is split between the A and the A sharp. As opposed to staying on the A chord the entire time, you're going to spend half of it on that A and then the other half on the A sharp. That leads you into that B. So you get that nice little bass note run of open to the A sharp to the B. So then at that part, then right before you cycle back through to the kind of like second part of the chorus, the Shower the People line, there is one little final chord that you play, and I believe it's like kind of like a B7 kind of chord, and that's basically the B note, second fret of the A, first fret of the D, and second fret of the G, and then the rest of the strings kind of open, so you get this kind of sound, and kind of gives like a little bit of like kind of a dissonant feel where you're going to go back into the shower the people, that part of the song. So I'll kind of play up to where we're at here. E minor 7, A, to the A, E minor 7, to the A, and then into that B7 kind of chord. And I did throw in a little, and I'll get to that a little bit later there, but you can kind of throw that in periodically when you're doing your transfer from your E minor 7 to your A. And so then after you get to that B7 chord, and you're going to kind of cycle back through to that E minor 7 and start kind of part 2 of the chorus. And you're going to do basically the same sequence. You're going to do that E minor 7 to the A, E minor 7 to the A, the E minor 7, then to the back to the A, then the A sharp, and then into your B minor. Except now the closeout, before it goes back into the verse, you're going to do one of these. Which gets you back to the "you can run, but you cannot hide," something like that lyric. So basically, if you look at the chorus, you kind of break it down into two parts. You have that E minor 7A, E minor 7A, E minor 7A, A sharp B, would be kind of 1, and then you finish it with that B7 chord, and then you do that entire sequence again with the E minor 7, A, E minor 7, A, E minor 7, A sharp, B, and then instead of doing this E7 thing here, you're going to do a C chord. Basically pluck the bass note of a C, and then kind of pluck out the bottom part of it. And then a little walk up of bass notes on the low E. So you have the open, 2, 3, and then kind of put your finger down like you're playing a G chord. You're on the 3rd fret of the B string, and play that along with the open G string above it. And then another walk up of bass notes with the 2nd fret of the A, 3rd fret of the A, and then the open D, which leaves you in kind of position. If you keep that finger, that ring finger down on the 3rd fret, you're in position for a D now. So you kind of get that basically 3 notes, then a pluck, and then 3 notes and a pluck. So it's 1 pluck, 1, 2, 3 pluck, 1, 2, 3 pluck. And that again only happens on the kind of the 2nd part of the chorus where you're leading back into the 2nd verse or another verse of the song. So basically that will lead you kind of back into and that's pretty much the rest of the song. There's kind of a closing, and maybe we'll put that up in part 3, but let's just kind of review quickly what we got here for part 2, and I'll show you that little thing I'm throwing in there for the verse. So basically, when you do your E minor 7, and you're transitioning to that A, you can kind of do the steal from the main riff of the song, and you can play that. And if you want that part, just kind of go back to and review part 1, but it's just that open E and G, 2nd fret, low E, 2nd fret, G, 3rd fret, low E, and then open B, and then you're going to go right back into that A. So we're basically, like I said, stealing kind of that riff from the intro of the song. So I'll just play kind of how that sounds, and you can feel free to sprinkle this in when you're transitioning from those 2 chords on the chorus. So there's that, and again, it doesn't have to be in there. I just thought it kind of sounds like that that part of the song, so I kind of sprinkle it in there. But again, E minor 7 to A, E minor 7 to A, and then the 3rd time through, E minor 7 to A sharp, B minor, and then to this B7 chord, when I guess the lyric would be things I'd like to do to you, or something like that. And back to your E minor 7, to your A, E minor 7, to your A, and then 3rd time through, E minor 7, A sharp, B minor, and then you have that little tasty little kind of turnaround that gets you back to the verse, which is the C. And that is basically it. Like I said, there's one other part of the song, which is kind of the closing with the repetitive shower the people we love kind of lyric. And probably throw that up at some point for part 3. But hopefully that's helpful for those of you trying to learn this. And that's about it. Music Man RN, out.